Good evening, online students. Am I audible? Good evening, Kritika. Am I audible? Please let me know. Good evening, Kalyani. Good evening, Sohini, Sanyam. Yeah, thank you all. Good evening, all. Let us get started. So, yesterday we were discussing fascism and Nazism, and we were about to end that topic. We were discussing Nazism, and as part of that, we were talking about how Hitler started Nazism in Germany, and we all know whether it's fascism or Nazism, it was far right wing ultra nationalism, and there are 14 characteristics by Uberto, novelist Uberto. He discussed 14 characteristics. They don't encourage intellectualism, they don't promote, support the people who ask questions, no rationalism, no logic, you can't even ask questions, you can't oppose them, they go with selective populism, okay. And whether it's fascism or Nazism, they were focusing on building military strength. They exactly opposed democracy, liberalism, Marxism, that is a communism. So, they opposed all this. Okay. Now, Hitler was okay with private corporatism, but what he felt is all activity of the people must be regulated. Okay. He wanted all the contribution of the people to be very much productive, not parasitical. We all know Hitler always hated Jewish people, Polish people, even Bolshevism also, and then he did not even like weak people in his own country. If there are old people or physically handicapped, crippled people, they are all kept in concentration camps. So, he felt whoever is not useful in times of war, they are not required for his country. And he also believed in Lebensraum, that is a space for German speaking people or German origin people, like Aryan theory, German people. So, that is why he wanted to extend in Poland, extend eastwards like Russia. He was always he always had that intention of expanding eastern territories, that is Russia, okay, Czechoslovakia. He wanted all, wherever German speaking people are there, he wanted to occupy those countries. Okay. Frija Siddiqui network problem. Okay, I don't see any network problem here. I will try to observe. If I find any network problem, I will let you know. Okay. So far, I haven't observed any network problem here. I will let you know. Then, he declared that every activity, every need of individual will be regulated. There are no longer any free realms in which individual belongs to himself. So, he does not believe in freedom, equality, okay. He believes in only racial superiority or hierarchy. He believed that Aryans, Germans are like Aryans, they are superior race, and nobody is equal to them. That is what his theory, that is what he believed in. Okay. Okay, Frisa, Putin in Russia has announced an annexation of new Ukrainian regions. Yes, I mean I too read that. Okay, particularly those Donbass areas. Okay, Donbass areas in Ukraine. They are little bit they are like separatists in Ukraine, and he was taking advantage of that. Okay, particularly Donbass region, he was that's why he waged a war. Actually, Putin has got a very big plan. We all know that Russian disintegration 1991, 15 countries broke away from that, and Putin wanted to occupy all of them. Okay, occupy all of them. That's why when somebody asked me that will there be a third world war, if at all there is a third world war, it will be from Putin. Putin will be supported by China, and this is what is happening. But one silver lining is that people are saying that there is a coup, COUP, P is silent, coup in China, military coup. If that is true, it will be a big thing for whole world. It's like a great news for most of the countries in the world. Okay, Jinping seems to be in house arrest, and I don't know, last for two days I did not read newspaper, but if that is true, then that's a very good thing. But that's a problem. Putin had actually that plan. He wanted to occupy all those 15 countries. That's a major plan, and he wanted to see that. This is like a trailer. If all the superpower countries are not interested in interfering, okay, this is what happened when Germany was occupying all other countries. They said, okay, he is not coming to us. Okay, even in Germany, I told yesterday that when he came for communist, other people, okay, we are not communist, no problem. When they came for Jewish people, okay, we don't have problem, we are not Jewish. When he came from Polish people, okay, no problem, we are not Polish. When he came for you, others thought same way. Okay, they are not coming for me, why should I support? Like that, everybody will be, put in jail, every country will be occupied. So I feel it's a great failure that no country was able to stop Putin. That's a great failure, and I feel most of the people think that United Nations is very successful, more successful than League of Nations. It will be known under which circumstances. For example, now this war is taking place, Ukrainian war. Had they stopped, okay, maybe United Nations is very successful, but they did not stop. So it is very difficult to say that they are very successful. Only time will tell. So capturing, military capturing, COUP, P is silent, coup. Okay, Kalyani, that is capturing the whole administration, everything, parliament, like that. Now there are news that there is news that whole military is there in Beijing, and 900 flights are cancelled. Nobody is saying whether they are cancelled, why it was cancelled. So rumor says that military is occupying the whole capital. Okay, so Musharraf started a coup in Pakistan. Okay, that is capturing, military capture is nothing but a coup. Okay, so now similarities and differences. I already told you, Nazism was inspired by fascism. So Hitler was inspired by Benito Mussolini, but Nazism took this right-wing ultra-nationalism to extreme levels, which you know, Holocaust, okay, concentration camps. These are like a blot against humanity. Okay, lakhs and lakhs of people, I think I don't remember exactly, more than 6 lakh people were killed by Hitler himself. So, he has taken it to another extremes. Both were intensely anti-communist, drew solid basis support from all classes, and also both were trying to take advantage of frustrated middle class, particularly Nazism. Both were anti-democratic, attempted to create totalitarian state. A totalitarian state is authoritative state, too much authority. Okay, everything is controlled by state. Okay. So, we say state is interfering too much, but here state does not interfere too much. Whatever they say, you have to do it. When state interferes too much, sometimes it leaves it freedom. It is not like that. In authoritarian state, everything is dictated by them, even your personal life. Like you see that North Korean Kim, he says what kind of a haircut you should have. That is how governments interfere in authoritarian state. Okay. Both emphasized supremacy of state, very nationalistic. This is, we should have another word for this. I mean, nationalism is actually a positive word. Okay. This is extreme nationalism or ultra nationalism. Okay. It is like a negative shade of nationalism, where you not only love your country, you say that ours is the only country, we are superior. That feeling, we are superior, that is a ultra nationalism. And cult of hero, mass leader. Actually, cult means extreme popularity. Extreme popularity. You say this is a cult movie. In that genre, that is a cult movie, very extremely popular. That means people try to worship, okay, adore, appreciate like anything. That is a cult status. So, here there is no value appreciation for anybody. Hitler had one important deputy named Goebbels. He was doing everything for Hitler's, but many people do not know, because that is Nazism and Fascism. Only one person is appreciated all the time. He is looked up as if he is like a demigod. That is cult status, extreme popularity. Okay. Who guide the rebirth of the nation from its troubles. So, this is exactly the words related to Nazism. When he came to power in 1933, Germany was in extremely economic crisis, and he promised them, I will get you out of control. He, presented himself as the solution for all the problems of Germany, whether it is economic crisis, unemployment, or the embarrassment of Treaty of Versailles. Okay? So, he was saying, I am going to find solution for all these problems. Okay. Then Kalyani, is that doubt cleared? Coup? Then economy led by state, establishment of dictatorship led by leader who literally has all powers and glorify violence, imperialism, militarism. Then what are the differences? Actually, the differences, Italian system was not as efficient as that in Germany. Do not think in a positive way. Efficient means Italian, fascism was not as cruel as Germany or Nazism. Okay. For example, Germany made, Hitler made Germany very, he strengthened its military, but Mussolini was not able to strengthen as much as Germany. Okay. Hitler killed more people in concentration camps, but Mussolini did not. He also killed, but not as much as Mussolini was killing only who opposed him. but Hitler was killing everybody. Whoever he feels they are not useful in times of war, he was killing. Okay, weak people, old people, even homosexuals, I don't know, I mean, he has his own theories, he was killing all kinds of people. Okay. Then, Italian system was not ruthless, as brutal as Hitler. Okay. There were no mass atrocities. See, we always use the word genocide. That is mass killings. Hitler was known for genocide. He was trying to wipe out all the Jewish people, Polish people, communist people, something of that sort. That is genocide. But Mussolini he did not commit any genocide. So that's why don't think that Germany was efficient. That's a negative meaning there. Then Italian fascism was not particularly anti-Jewish or racist. Mussolini was not a racist. He did not hate any one religion. Nazis rejected corporatism, although they supported state intervention in the economy, cultural production. They viewed modernism as sign of cultural degeneration. These are two important points when we discussed 14 features of Nazism and Fascism. First 2 points are, first one is traditional, okay, cult of traditionalism. Second one is modernism. They rejected modernism. They always supported traditional or conservative thinking. So, Hitler was always conservative, traditional. What is that, mindset saying that we are all Aryans, we are superior to others? This is not progressive thinking, regressive thinking. That is traditional. Modernism, thinking and intellectual open-mindedness, or you call it reasoning, rational attitude, these are all degeneration for Hitler. He thinks that is a sign of weakness. So, modernism is a weakness for Hitler, cultural degeneration, but not for actually fascists. Okay. Then on the other hand, did not restrict artistic expression. Nazis restricted artistic expression also, art also. But here fascist people, fascism in Italy encouraged creativity. Okay. So, rather promoting fascist style. But Nazism, they did not encourage creative expression also. Okay. And then okay, that is this is the end of Nazism and Fascism. Okay. So, remember those 14 features, and then how Mussolini rose to power, and then how Hitler rose to power, particularly similarities and differences. This is what is important for exam point of view. Now, without any delay, we are actually lagging behind from syllabus point of view. Let us go to next topic, that is Japanese Revolution. Actually, Japanese Revolution, some people call it restoration. Okay, you may call it a reform. It may be revolution, it may be reform, or it may be restoration. The reason is It is not similar to American Revolution or French Revolution or Russian Revolution, because people are not revolting against the kingdoms. People are not revolting. It is like actually military dictatorship. Military dictatorship giving way to monarchy. Normally monarchy is old one. In Japan there was monarchy most of the times, but from 1600 to 1800, roughly 1600 to 1800, there was military dictatorship. They were known as shogunates. So the names are little bit strange, like a tongue twister. So we need to be careful, because most of us are familiar with French revolutions and American revolutions or European histories, but Japan is the only Asian country which is worth discussing, because that's that kind of a country which was powerful enough. And so that's why, make no mistake, this is not a revolution by the people. It is a military dictatorship was replaced by monarchy. And very interestingly, that monarchy, you don't see atrocities of monarchy. There may be a few, but what monarchy is known as, we call it Meiji Restoration. What is that? There is another name for that. Most of the places, if you refer internet anywhere, this topic is better known as a Meiji Restoration. Meiji Restoration. Meiji is the name of the emperor. Actually, his name is Mitsubishi or something, Mitsubishi. But actually, his title, he has taken this title, Enlightenment title, as Meiji. So this is a wonderful phase of that over 40 years of period in Japan. It made Japan what it is today. From geographical point of view, Japan is a very small island. But we all know that once Japan was the second biggest economy, then now third biggest economy. After America and China, Japan is the third biggest economy, but it is a very small country. And in history, Japan defeated China, Japan defeated Korea, Japan defeated Russia, such a big country. How was it possible for a small island? And one more thing is, during this time before restoration, Japan, that was their policy, this military dictatorship, shogunates. During the rule of shogunates, shogunate is military dictatorship, that is replaced by Meiji. During shogunate's time ruling, it was a rule in Germany that you should not go to any country, or those people should not come to your country. If somebody goes to any country, communicate and do something, they are punished. According to law, they may be killed by government itself. Very serious offense. That means it was locked up, isolated, geographically, politically isolated island country. So where was the where was the way to develop? When Meiji came, what you think monarchy? Monarchy is, military dictatorship is somewhat modern. Monarchy going back to kings, where their sons become emperors. So actually they should be very regressive, they should be very conservative in their ideas. But when we think about Japan, Japan technology is very famous. So before Meiji restoration, Japan was known only for agriculture, like rice, silk, tea, these are three things. Now, Japan gets a lot of revenue due to its quality of technology. How did it all happen? How Japan was able to defeat China, Russia, North Korea, all these kingdoms? The reason is only one answer is Meiji Restoration. That monarch ruled for 40 years or 42 years, and it made this country technologically developed, industrially strong. Okay. So, it made the Japan what it is today. That is importance of a Meiji Restoration. So, make no mistake, there is no revolution by the people here. That is why it is better known as Meiji Restoration or Reformation, whatever you call it, Japanese Revolution. Okay. So, now let us see here, Meiji Restoration was political social revolution in Japan. 1868, Tokugawa shogunate, we call it a shogunate. He is the military dictator. Okay. They ruled 2 centuries, and this guy came within 40 years, he changed Japan like anything. Okay. So, in the feudal period, actually Japan was a feudal country, like a king gives a land, okay, a particular land where lot of people work, serfs work, tenants work, wages work. Okay. Serfs, they do not change, tenants, they pay, they do agriculture, they pay taxes, tenants. 3 people are like they work on land of the landlord. Landlord is nothing but he was a farmer soldier, a soldier or a knight who was given a total area where they go to war whenever it is required, and they collect lot of taxes from the peasants, and they give it to, pay it to king. So, Japan was a feudal country, okay, during this shogunate, okay, Tokugawa shogunate. Lost its power and the emperor was reinstated. So, who is the emperor here? Meiji. Who is the emperor? Meiji. He was reinstated as sovereign. Emperor took the name Meiji. It is a enlightened rule. He took its name. His actual name is Mitsubishi. Okay, that is a tongue twister. As his reign name means it is a ruling name. Reign means ruling. This event was known as Meiji Restoration. This is more important. It can be the title of the topic, Meiji Restoration. Led to a period of major political, okay, it is roughly you can say 1868 to 1912, okay, 42-44 years, that is the period. He actually passes away in 1912. Okay. Political, economic, social change. This is an important question. What is the restoration all about? What type of political, economic, social changes brought by Meiji Restoration? Important question from exam point of view. And he brought about modernization and westernization. Modernization and westernization in Japan. Okay. So, first of all, to discuss that, how was Japan as a society. We all know French society, first, second, third estates, Russian society. So, most of the society was stratified, that means divided into classes, that is we call it stratified. So, Japan society was also stratified. How? You see, you know that great popular movie Samurai by Tom Cruise. I do not know whether you watched it or not. Watch it if you want to know. Samurai. Samurais were very fierce warriors in Japan society. Fierce warriors, very proud people, okay, and they are very much known, reputed, okay, for their skills. Okay. And then before that we can call daimyos. Japan feudal lords are known as daimyos, D-A-I-M-Y-O, daimyos. Okay. You can even say shogunates. Now, you can say Japan society was classified into shogunates, feudal lords like daimyos, and samurai, that is warriors, then artisans, farmers, merchants. So, you can add those two. Shogunates, first category, they were given very importance. The reason is the government is shogunate's government, Tokugawa shogunate. Second people daimyos, and samurais. After the end of this shogunate rule, the samurais and shogunates, their presence, their importance is decreased. That is one of the biggest social changes in Meiji Restoration. Okay. Then artisans, farmers, merchants. Mobility between these four classes, that means one class cannot become other class. Nowadays in society, people may belong to any one community. Their community, for example, one community does only business, but they do not have to do business now, they may take up any job. But in medieval times, everyone is born into one family, and that family belongs to one of the classes of the society, and they cannot, for example, you are born in a samurai family, you are very coward person, you do not know how to hold a sword, you are very timid, but as you are born in samurai family, you have to fight in a war. So, that is the problem in medieval times. So, you cannot go to another class, whether you like it or not. So, he ruling before restoration too at the same time. Frija, I do not understand what is something restored me, it existed before at the same time which was restored now. Okay. So, restoration means, you see, Japan was a monarchy country normally. Most of the countries ruled by monarchs, but later shogunates ruled for 2 centuries. Then you see the word here, emperor was reinstated, that means he was restored. Meiji was restored again, that is what he has restored. Yeah, Frija, I think you understand now. A monarchy was restored or reinstated. That is the word which is suitable here. Restored. What is restored means first monarchy was there, later from 1600 to 1800 roughly Tokugawa shogunates came to power. Then later again Meiji came, who is a monarch. Okay. So, monarchy was reinstated or restored. I think your doubt is clear. Please let me know. Then feudal society was classified like this. Japan was largely isolated from outside world. Trade was prohibited except for 2 Dutch ships and 1 Chinese traders at Nagasaki. So, this is like a locked up country, okay, in terms of business, in terms of cultural exchange, in terms of politics. Okay. So, it is such a very interesting thing. Okay. Most of the countries, even like India and many countries, we had a lot of relationships, exchange with many other countries, but as it was island country and those people were not interested, and it was imposed by government itself, shogunate's government. So, background of the Meiji restoration, internal causes, okay, social and economic unrest. You see, during that 19th century, when I said 1600 to 1800, okay, that 19th century there was a lot of unrest, people lost their jobs, economy was in crisis, okay. So, it was very difficult time, that is one reason. And then daimyos and samurais revolt, they also revolted. Daimyos are feudal lords, samurais are warriors, fierce warriors. Okay. Now, external causes. Now, arrival of Commodore Matthew Perry, a squadron of US Navy demanding that Japan open commerce with the West, Actually, what happened is, it is more than that. Matthew Perry is very much a household name in Japan. Most of the people remember his name. He was not such a simple thing. The reason is, he caused the downfall of a military dictator, that is a shogunates of 2 centuries. But you do not see anything, what happened, how was he able to cause that. But every Japan, most of the Japan people in their textbooks, that is what I have read in different resources, they remember this name, this is a evil name for them. How can you say that? Can anybody answer that question? How? Matthew Perry, okay? And Matthew Perry was, I will tell you very interestingly, do not get shocked, he is also indirectly responsible for Pearl Harbor attack. Indirectly responsible for Pearl Harbor attack. Online students, can anybody tell me how these events are interlinked? How? If you want to answer by the text you see there, you cannot answer. You should have known some background information. Okay, I will try to wait for 1 or 2 minutes, then I will myself tell you. Okay. So, I will explain this line little later. 1854 Treaty of Kanagawa, in which Japan was forced to concede special economic legal privileges to Western powers. Several other unequal treaties were signed. Okay. So, unequal treaties were signed. I will tell you a background. Then the opening of Japan, the way in which the treaties were agreed upon, weakened the shogunate's rule. Now, you can understand here itself, it weakened shogunate's rule. 200 years of military dictatorship, okay, has come to end due to this guy Matthew Perry. So, he is like a household name in Japan, and US people do not remember that. He is from USA. Hitler attacked Pearl Harbor. I understand. Hitler attacked Pearl Harbor. Sorry, it was Japan who attacked Pearl Harbor. Okay, let me tell you now. Actually, Matthew Perry took 4 gunboats. Huh? US? Not supplying. What actually happened is, I told you Japan was locked up economy. Locked up. So, most of the countries tried to colonize China also, but they were not successful. But they were successful. UK, France were successful to extent that they had some privileges in trade. That means they were able to control exports and imports, some sort of control. Now, all these European countries along with US, what they thought is they wanted to do business with Japan. So, if you want to do business with Japan, what do? What English people did to us? They came to Mughals, they requested, they took permission, later they became too big to deal with. This is what happened. But in Japan's matter, okay, all the countries were interested, European countries plus USA, to do business with Japan, but in shogunate's time, they were not dealing with any countries. Okay, it was like isolated country. Now, for that very interesting strategy, this guy Matthew Perry took 4 gunboats and he fired at Japan harbors. He was trying to intimidate Japan people, Japan government to do business. So, what business? They entered into agreement, they forced the government, Japan government, shogunate's government, for unequal treaties. What is that? Unequal treaties. So, that business is going to do more favors to foreign countries rather than home country. When you people are allowing foreign countries to do business, you will have your terms and that will be in favor of you, otherwise you do not do it. But here it is opposite. Matthew Perry was actually intimidating with gunboats. Japan was not industrialized at that time. They do not have that technology, they do not have weaponry. And they actually gave in, they accepted whatever the conditions and agreements. And because of that, shogunate, all the people in Japan were unhappy with shogunate government, that is military dictatorship. And that government, that dictatorship ruled for 200 years and it was, it came to end because of this unequal treaties. It was the main causes for that. The other cause is, we know, these daimos and the samurais revolted. There were 2 factions, 2 people who are in support of Meiji, they revolt, they do some wars also, that is okay. But this is also one of the important reasons for the downfall of shogunate's kingdom. Okay. So, now why it is interlinked with Pearl Harbor is, Japan had that in their mind, because of this whole shogunate's has come to an end. And then there was a very big problem, economic crisis. Of course, Meiji came, he took a lot of initiatives, made what Japan today. That is what happened. But Japan people did not forget that thing, because some foreigner coming, threatening them, intimidating them with gunboats, firing at them, and then forcing them to unequal treaties, causing downfall of shogunate's kingdom, and it was World War I. At that time America was having that embargo, that means trade restrictions. They were not giving any oil, anything. America was doing business in the beginning, World War II. They were selling weapons, oil, all this. All of a sudden they stopped because Japan is little bit close to America, Pacific Ocean, Eastern Pacific Ocean. Okay, globe comes like this. So they don't want, Americans don't want the Japanese aggression or domination. For other countries they were okay. So they already had this in mind, Japanese people. At that time you did all this to us. Now we want to do it. So that's why they have attacked Pearl Harbor. And most of the people don't know this. The reason, even we thought Japan is such a good country, why would it attack like that? Because they were so cruel in Second World War. They were killing Chinese like anything. And particularly when you think about Hiroshima and Nagasaki incident, you feel for Japanese people. They are Japanese country, I said, they are very good people. So we feel for them. We think why American people were taking that sort of a decision. And we know Pearl Harbor was also a harsh one. And we know, now we know that America is the one who started this. So in this war you cannot say no hero, okay, no villain, all are villains, all are heroes, okay, only the victims are, people are victims. This is what we say, okay, no victors, only victims. Is a collateral damage. I think you can connect Pearl Harbor incident with that Matthew Ferry incident. So he took gunboats and fired and intimidated them for unequal treaties. So that's how it happened. And in this war, okay, Boshin, okay, remember these two are important names, Choshu and Satsuma. Chosu and Satsuma, these are like two organizations. They believed in, okay, Frisia, what is that, Hitler attacked Pearl Harbor? No, okay, we have discussed that, it is Japan, Germany-Japan relationships. Frisia, I don't understand, is that question or something? So now, Choshu and Satsuma, okay, these two organizations, okay, they have strengthened their soldiers, and they are actually, they are against shogunates, and also they are trying to help Meiji to come back. Then this war takes place, that is Boshin War, very important, 1868-1869, Boshin War. So it's like these two people were very instrumental in bringing down the shogunate's government. Okay. Apart from that unequal treaty, that one, this one, these two are important. And then, okay, Tokugawa, okay, they were against these Tokugawa clans, Tokugawa shogunate, that is a dictator government, Tokugawa shogunates, okay, defeated shogunate's army at the battle Toba Fushimi. Okay. Boshin War, battle is part of war, don't misunderstand what is war, what is battle. War is bigger one, and there will be so many battles. Okay. Total war we can understand, Boshin War. Then now, effects of the Meiji restoration, very important. Okay. Now, political, economic and social changes, from exam point of view, important. And really this guy, if you see that kingdom, military dictatorship for 2 centuries, he was there only for 44 years. Okay. So that was really great achievement. Until then, Japan had no development at all, because they did not have any relationship, no business, nothing with other countries. Now, first of all, he is like monarchy. First of all, for the namesake is monarchy, but he was doing all kind of a democratic works. We do not see any kind of atrocities, killing, although he is monarchy. We talk about sorry, we talk about his development, okay, his revival of the economy, all these things. Now, first he started constitution, declared various liberties, rights. First time in Japan, he introduced liberties and rights, and okay, actually he took this not from European, of course European nations, particularly from Japan, I mean Germany. He copied or he just got inspired by German constitution, and then he started that constitution. Then Meiji constitution borrowed largely from Germany. 1890 constitutional government was formed, two houses of parliament called Imperial Diet. Their parliament was known as Imperial Diet. You may call it bicameral Imperial Diet. When you have two houses, that is known as bicameral. I think you might have come across this in polity. Bicameral Imperial Diet. Then economic changes. So, as I told you, Japan earlier second biggest economy, now third biggest economy. At that time it became one of the biggest economies, 5 biggest economies at that time. Okay. And we all know Japan is always troubled with earthquakes and thunders. Okay. I mean lightnings. Still they are progressing like anything. That is their great achievement. Now, Japan underwent industrial revolution that made it into economic powerhouse of Asia. What are the primary activities? He actually implemented a Land Reform Act 1873 that led to the introduction of new strains of rice. Okay, you know, sometimes rice produce may be less or they may not be resistant to disease, but new strains were invented. Agriculture research was done, agriculture institutions were set up, and agriculture production was increased. So, this is what happened, educational centers. Okay. And when you talk about education, this guy has done extremely well, because at the time of Meiji, literacy was 40% and he made it 80%. Where is 40%? Where is 80%? Of course, here they are discussing only agriculture institutions related to agriculture, but general point of view, literacy increased from 40 to 80. Okay. Then foreign demand for silk and tea stimulated. See, earlier rice, okay, tea, silk, these are all very important areas for revenue, but later he started industrialization also, technology, industrialization. That is what Meiji did. Then which led to higher revenues, in turn used by government as investment in industrial development. So, industrial development is one important area where Meiji worked on. He did some wonders there, okay, in education as well as industrial development. Just one word, why whoever talk about Japan, we talk about their technology. Okay. So, all that credit goes to Meiji. And Jaibatsus. So, if you have any problem with the pronunciation, like Jai one syllable, bat another syllable, sus another syllable, that is easy. Jaibatsus. So, it was very important from industry point of view. For example, government was not able to do everything, okay, like a monarchy was not able to do everything in terms of investment and development. what they did is, it is like a private public partnership. They joined hands with companies. They joined hands with the companies and they made it, that means government made it, king made it, big conglomerates. You know, conglomerates means very big companies, conglomerates. Okay. They made companies stronger and resilient. Okay. So, big conglomerates, you can call them. So, because of him, there were very big companies in Japan, okay, big conglomerates. So, you may call it Mitsubishi, Sumitomo and Yasuda. They are biggest of J Bastas. So, J Bastas very important from exam point of view, because they were very instrumental in industrialization and modernization of Japan at that time, and government joined hands with them. Then they control large part of Japanese economy, which included mines, banks, shipping, textile, everything. So, then you all know, for any country, for development, particularly industrial development, what you need is iron and steel, because whatever company you have to start, any other companies, you need iron and steel. That is why industrialization starts with the iron and steel. We have discussed that in Germany, we have discussed that even in India, when Jamshedji Tata started, what is that city? Jamshedpur. So, Tata started industrialization. Okay. That is why people ask, there are many people in India who are richer than you. Okay. Why is it like that? He told, they are all businessmen, we are industrialists. They are all businessmen, we are industrialists. That is true. Tata is industrialist. He laid the foundation for industrialization in India, because without steel and iron, you cannot set up any other factory. So, iron production grew in cities of Nagasaki, Yokohama, Yokosuka. Major government incentives support provided stimulus to businessmen to engage in the industry. Government itself built some of the smelting facilities. Very interesting, until then Japan did not have smelting facilities. We call it smelting furnaces, blasting furnaces, where you blast iron ore, okay? That sort of a technology requirement in companies, factories. It was not there until then. So, the government made move towards building a steel mill in Yawata, and then, so see, Japan to have blast furnace dedicated in producing steel. So, that was the first one, okay? Yawata, first Japan factory to start blasting furnace. So, it was very important for industrialization. Now, commercial and financial institutions. You see, we need agriculture, we need industrialization, we need finance banking system also. So, every country has a central bank. It has different names. US people call it Fed, Reserve, okay, we call it Reserve Bank. They call it Bank of Japan. Bank of Japan. So, they started a central bank known as Bank of Japan to assist in trade and foreign exchange. A secondary institution called Yokohama Special Bank was also set up. Then they also set up agriculture industrial banks in 1894 to finance farmers and manufacturers. Then transport and communication. Okay. So, development of commercial financial institutions, we need transport also. See, any country, okay, industry is important, agriculture is important, education, health important, and then infrastructure, that is roads, bridges, all this, that is infrastructure is important. So, government gave encouragement heavily subsidized shipbuilding. As Japan is an island country, for them transport is more of a ships, okay, navy, ships is very important. So, they have revolutionized shipbuilding, everything. They gave a lot of subsidies for shipbuilding companies. They laid foundation for the tremendous growth of domestic and foreign shipping in Japan. Okay. Alka Sharma, I cannot understand that some Hindi is there. You are asking timings to change. Is time sab tak jate aate pade? What is that? Alka Sharma, can you translate it? Can you translate it? Okay. The first railroad was built in 1872. Railway lines were established by the state government. See, for any country, railway lines are very important. Now, I am going to ask you one question. We are talking about 1872. We know Japan is very famous for their bullet trains. Okay. They don't come even late by 1 minute, not even 1 minute. And the kind of technology, cleanliness, everything in that trains is really very difficult to understand. That's a miracle. They don't come even late by 1 minute. So now my question is, Japan started railway lines first in 1872. When India started its railway lines, and where are we now in comparison to Japan? Online students? Online students, can you make comparisons when India started first railway line? Okay. Even in India, when railway started, that was a turning point for industrialization and all development. I will give you one clue. We started 20 years before Japan, and now we are in no way in comparison to Japan. That is the astonishing fact. Okay. And our trains may come, okay, one day late also, no problem, we don't mind it. Even our airlines also, they don't even inform you, we don't mind that. So, maybe it's all credit goes to British people, they started railways, but the point is we had that technology 20 years before Japanese people. Now you compare our trains and their their quality, everything. Japan is very famous for its bullet trains. Now we are struggling to have one bullet train in India, but because it is going to cost a lot, from Ahmedabad to Bombay. Our present government is trying to do that. We cannot afford that. Telegraph lines were built by the state, and 1886 telegraph and postal services were united under a joint bureau. Okay. So, railways, telegraphs are also important. Firoz Siddiqui is 1852 or 1850? 1850 is correct, but not exactly 1850. Okay. So, that is why I gave you clue 20 years. So, you can come up with the exact year. Okay. So, 20 years ago. Okay. Not exactly 20 years ago. So, that is why I think Friza is answering 1852. Okay. So, I think it is 1856, and I am not exactly sure, but 1856, but we can say around 20 years. Yeah, Alak Sharma, it's a very tough task. I will try to address this issue. Okay, I will try to address this issue. Then education, a new system, compulsory education was introduced. I told you 40% to 80% literacy. Okay, that was a tremendous development. We all know how serious Japanese people are in education and technology. And education order proclaimed, first time education was made for all. It is not only for rich people, it was for everybody, middle class and the lower class people, for everybody. So education was democratized. But see, the only title is monarchy, but he is doing everything better than a democratic government. So the point is, whatever the form of the government, whether it is a democracy or a dictatorship or monarchy, whatever it may be, the people in the seat, if they are their intentions are good, they can develop whatever the form of the government. If people are not good, democracy will be a big failure. Alak Sharma, I can't understand. Okay, Alka. Yeah. Alka Sharma. Okay. Okay. Then social. What are the social? I told you the feudalism was totally abolished, and daimyo was the name given to German feudal lords, and samurai warrior people. So their power privileges disappeared. New ruling class. We all know after every revolution or restoration, middle class people emerge as influential people in the society. So what happened here? Even in the same way, consisted of urban based upper middle class, primarily composed of industrial managers and bureaucrats. The demographic pictures of Japan showed a heavy concentration of population in small villages. Very interesting feature. Normally, people in rural areas, population in rural areas may be less, but in Japan, it was more. Population was more in rural areas. So that's very interesting one. Yeah, Frija, I understand. I have to talk to different stakeholders because classes are packed here from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Okay. So if not me, somebody will be teaching at that time. So there are foundation, NCERT foundation courses and all other courses are going on. So somebody else will be teaching. But anyway, I will try to address the issue. Then demographic pictures of Japan showed heavy concentration of population. Then another feature of the social setting of Japan during Meiji period was relatively small number of urban middle class. So urban middle class people were less in cities. Okay, more people were there in villages. Inequality of wealth between urban and rural. So most of the countries it is common, wealth distribution is not equal. We call it disparity in wealth, or wealth distribution is not equal. That means if you want to discuss in other terms, the gap between haves and have nots is more. And most of the names sometimes we may mispronounce, don't mind it. Okay, like Alka Sharma, just now rectified. Okay, that's okay now. You can rectify, because I may not be very much impeccable with your pronunciation, different names, different pronunciations, so don't mind. Then Anglo-Japanese Treaty of actually we were discussing right from the beginning. Emergence of Japan as imperialistic power. See, as Asians, we should be proud of Japan. When we discussed the Industrial Revolution, we discussed that Japan was the first country to start Industrial Revolution in Asia. Okay. In the same way, if you take the biggest economies, okay, now China is also there. We are not, we should not be proud of China, they are our competitors. So we should be proud of Japan. As a country, we have good relationship with Japan. So as a small country, okay, if they can do miracles like that, big countries like us, we have more possibilities to become good economies in the world. So very good chance for all of us, and most of the big countries have a lesson to learn from Japan. So how they became, see, one very interesting thing is, this is not something to be proud of. Japan became imperialistic country. Once they became a biggest economy, which wealthiest country, they started occupying all the islands, that is Eastern Pacific area. We have seen that in World War II. The same thing happens when a country becomes wealthy, their agenda, their priorities will become different. You see, Japan was a locked up economy. They did not have any sort of relationship with others. That means you have neither friends nor enemies. All of a sudden, in Second World War, they started occupying all other countries. So this is what happens. Wealth brings so many other desires like territorial expansions. So it's not a good thing, that is imperialistic power, because earlier Japan was like a normal country and it was nowhere close to Great Britain, America, France, Germany, other imperialistic countries. They are all occupying other countries for the sake of business or other ends. But all of a sudden, Japan gave tough competition to them in Second World War as an imperialistic country. The major reforms brought great changes in Japan's place in world affairs. Japan strengthened itself enough to remain sovereign nation in the face of Western colonizing powers. So it gave tough competition to Western colonized powers like Germany, France, Great Britain, then USA, all these countries. It itself became a colonizing power or a imperialistic country. Now you see how Japan defeated all these countries. 1895, Japan defeated China. In 1937, again it occupied Manchuria of China. Just before World War, 1939, before that 1937. 1939 is World War. 1937 they occupied Manchuria. So Japan troubled China like anything, which India could not. That is something India should be proud of. Then Japan's status as great power recognized by US. All countries recognized it as a super power. They are not a tiny island. That tag is removed now. It is no longer tiny island. It is a power to reckon with, because they had some concessions. They gave up the rights and concessions received as a result of treaties with Japan. So with some treaties they had some concession. They said we don't need any concessions. That means we are good enough without concessions. That reflects their strength. Anglo-Japanese Treaty alliance was signed. Japan became first Asian country to enjoy equal status. Okay, maybe here England and Great Britain and Japanese had treaty, and Japan is the first Asian country to be considered along with colonial powers. Then you see Russia-Japanese war. Russia was defeated. Great Hitler was not able to defeat, but this tiny island, no longer tiny island, it defeated Russia. Korea made protectorate of Japan. Here protectorate of Japan means, yeah, Friza, greed emerges as wealth rises. That's correct. So protectorate means first they call it like protectorate. Japan is protectorate of Korea means it is like almost all occupied. Next stage is occupation. Okay, they are just in the hands of Japan. So now you see, at that time Korea, North Korea, South Korea was same. They were not divided. Both are one country. And now that South Korea itself is very developed country now. So it defeated all those countries. Korea annexed by Japan. Okay? During First World War, Japan tried to establish protectorate over China. See, this Japan wanted to do same thing for whole China, but it did not work. So it was able to occupy Manchuria. Later, as those, what do you call them? These three countries, they were defeated. They could not do that, or otherwise China would have faced the same thing. So that's how Japan was so powerful. Then Japan after Meiji restoration. After Meiji restoration, Meiji period ended with the death of Emperor 1912. So I told you, from 1868 to 1912, 44 years, he passed away. Highly centralized bureaucratic government, he made it modernized. Okay, so he modernized Japan, centralized bureaucratic government. So bureaucracy means, like all officers delegating the powers and responsibilities. Constitution establishing elected parliament, well developed transport and communication system, highly educated population, okay, free of feudal class restrictions. Then established rapidly growing industrial sector, powerful army and navy. Powerful army and navy. So this is what happened after Meiji restoration. So these are all the causes. Political causes, economic, not causes, changes. Political changes, economic changes, social changes. I think this is the last one. Okay. Now, what is the next topic? So next topic is interwar period. Okay. So what is interwar period? Okay. 1914 to 18. This is First World War. Okay. It starts after 1918. So from 1918. So when does Second World War starts? 1939. This period. Okay, so that 19 years there, 19 years, here 2 years. Okay, 21 years. So this 21 years is the interwar period. So here interwar period means nothing but the period between First World War and Second World War. So, this is also important topic. So, this Treaty of Versailles, wherever you go, it will chase you. Okay? So, it has consequences and impact on so many historical events. That is why the Treaty of Versailles is so important from exam point of view. We have already discussed that a couple of times. Let us discuss one more time. There is no harm. So, Treaty of Versailles. After the World War I, okay, Treaty of Versailles was imposed on Germany. We all know that Great Britain and France, they themselves felt Treaty of Versailles was little bit harsh. So, that is the reason they were very calm when Hitler was occupying, which we call appeasement policy. And also countries were not interested in waging wars time and again, because we all know how much damage it can cause. So, what is Versailles Treaty? First of all, German people always felt it was a forced peace treaty. Okay? Forced peace treaty. It was forced. Actually, Japan did not agree to all the terms, but allied powers, they said, if you do not agree, we will start war. So, that is why Germany had to accept, although it did not it did not accept that, he was not interested. But the point is, most of the countries did not pay reparations. For example, 6,600 or something millions, that it will come like 6.6 billions. Japan was asked to pay reparations 6.6 billions or 6.6 billions, but it was reduced to 2 billions, and then they did not pay that exactly. So, most of the countries did not pay, along with Germany, they did not pay reparations properly. Okay. At that time, all the allied countries wanted to teach lesson how punishment would be for the countries, but when Germany itself going through a serious economic crisis, they cannot force them. Instead of that, countries like America helped them. So, these two things are important. Treaty terms were harsh, but the point is, whatever the territories, they are not harsh. Territorial distribution, they are not harsh, but particularly reparations are harsh. But anyway, these people had to accept, and they did not pay, they defaulted on those terms. Now, what are the major terms? First of all, you know, even now Japan is not part of Security Council in United Nations, okay? Not even League of Nations. The reason is, when we talk about World War, we think they are the major culprits, reasons for World War. That is why countries did not allow them to join. That is one of the major terms. They felt very humiliated. See, this Rhineland and Saar are very important. Rhineland is very close to France, and France always thought if that place is militarized, and they always pose threat to France, because France is the biggest victim of German attack. That is why people gave importance to France claims. So, whatever France said, they accepted. So, Rhineland was totally demilitarized, and Saar was very full of natural resources, particularly coal fields. It was given to France for 15 years. Alsace-Lorraine, this is a place now in France. It was part of Germany was ruling that. This place was given to France, very important one, Alsace Lorraine, okay, very historical town. Germany was forbidden to unite with Austria. So, from World War point of view, Germany and Austria were like bad boys. These allied powers are like parents. Parents are not allowing these bad boys to reunite, because if they reunite, there will be lot of problems. So, they said you should not talk to them, you should not unite. So, these two bad boys were separated. Lands in eastern Germany, their rich farmlands, Posen, Polish corridor, all were given to Poland. Another victim of German-Russian attack is Poland. I always told you, when we think about Poland, it is a very, I feel very sympathetic to Poland. You see, Russia and Germany were having a, okay, what is that, Molotov-Ribbentrop non-aggression treaty. They said, you take half of the country, I will take the rest of the half of the country. Is it a pizza or something to share like that? So, Hitler, Germany never considered Poland as a country. Okay. During his Holocaust, he used Poland as a lab. And in non-aggression treaty, they used it like a pizza. So, very horrible, they were very harsh for Poland. So, now most of the lands which were occupied by Germany were given back to Poland. So, same thing happened here, rich farm lands were given to Poland. All Germany's colonies taken given to France. Britain mandates. See, this word mandate is very interesting. In election, when you say mandate, that majority, okay, election result. Here, mandate means authority. Okay. So, authority was given to whom? France and Britain. All German colonies are taken and given to France and Britain. And German army was restricted to 1 lakh. 1 lakh. And very interesting thing is, no air force, only 6 ships, no submarines. These are all the major terms. So, we have seen 6 battleships, no submarines. Submarines, you know, okay, they launch missiles, underwater missiles, torpedoes, okay, they are very dangerous. And Germany not allowed to have air force. Then Germany was responsible to all the loss and damages. Why did Germans object? As I know, as we have already discussed, they said we are not responsible for all the damage, we are responsible, majorly responsible. Fritza, why Poland did nothing about it? And the terms of Treaty of Versailles. Yes, they are Treaty of Versailles, and why Poland did nothing about it. See, the whole world was mute spectator. Now, why whole world is spectator to Ukrainian and Russia war? Okay. See, Putin sometimes says, I am going to use a nuclear weapon. Okay. And major powers are not interested in escalating the situation. They wanted to, they could have done something about it. So, now the question is why Poland did nothing about it. Poland was not in a situation, not that sort of a strong country to respond in aggressive terms. All Poland could do was wait for the help of the big nations. When Russia and Japan was treating Poland like that, they need the help of Germany, I mean Great Britain, need the help of Great Britain, France main, and then USA. Some countries have to come and save them. They were only saving them when the World War was over. They were trying to give back the territories to Poland. So, Poland was not strong enough to respond. That is the only logical answer to that question. Frisia, let me know if you are okay with that answer. Then, why did Germans object Treaty of Versailles? So, now as I told you, they said we are not responsible for all the damages, and then they said this is like a dictated peace terms, this is not a peace forced, we were forced, and they rejected it, but allied powers threatened them of a war and consequences. That is why they have to accept, and war guilt clause which started Germany has caused all the loss and damage. They said it is unjust, not fair. Military terms of the treaty like 1006 battleships, no submarines, no aeroplanes, it was very harsh. They said we are powerless, even a tiny country attacks us, we cannot retaliate, we cannot respond. So, you made us like this is not fair. That is Germans version. Then reparations, of course 6.6 billions, but they soon began to default, they did not pay, that is another story. Territorial terms of the Treaty of Versailles made the Germans oppose. Germans, we all know that Germans were very angry because of this treaty, and Hitler used that anger to gain his private ends. What was private end? To take Germany into World War. That is how Hitler used it. Thank you, Frisia. Then now these peace treaties are important. Remember, if you ask me, the biggest losers apart from Germany are Turkey, Austria-Hungary, these are the biggest losers. So, we all know Austria-Hungary was so big, it was like a Habsburg, it was, what is the name? Habsburg dynasty. So, now Austria is a different country, Hungary is a different country, and even from those territories, so many territories were given to Czechoslovakia, Serbia, so many other countries. So, apart from Germany, Austria was the partner for Germany. They paid heavy price for being joining hands with Germany. So, what is that treaty? Peace treaties with Austria-Hungary. So, what is that? Habsburg Empire disintegrated. So many countries they declared independent. Treaty of Germain dealing of Austria. So many territories. Check it out here, territories. So many territories are there. So many territories. Bohemia, Moravia to the new state of Czechoslovakia. For example, if Austria is here and Hungary is here, and then you can see Czechoslovakia here. So, territories Bohemia, Moravia, all of them given to Czechoslovakia. Dalmatia, Bosnia, Herzegovina to Serbia here. They are given to Serbia. Bukovina to Romania. Galicia to Poland. I told you, Poland was benefited after World War I. Then South Tyrol, Trento, Styria, Trieste were given to Italy. See, Italy was very cunning in the First World War. They were supposed to support Germany and Austro-Hungary, but at last Turkey, Austro-Hungary, Japan, they started triple entente. So, now the point is Why Italy was given some territories, it did not participate in the war, but we all know when people were so frustrated with Benito Mussolini. Benito Mussolini was like a weak link for Hitler. Otherwise, Hitler would have achieved more, occupied more countries. So now, even his people, his country people were not happy with him. So they have arrested him. They gave power to other prime minister. King did that. At that time, when Mussolini was arrested, Italy joined hands with the allied powers. For that reason, they were given some territories. Or some logic must be there, otherwise they don't give territories, they may belong to them, or some sort of logic. That's why all these territories were given to Italy. Then, so Treaty of Germain, then Treaty of Trianon, Treaty of Trianon. Okay. So Slovakia, Ruthenia were given to Czechoslovakia, and then Croatia, Slovenia to Yugoslovakia. Transylvania is very important territory here, and Banat of Themes were given to Romania. Themes were given to Romania. The settlement with Turkey and Bulgaria. See, Turkey had faced, people started calling Turkey as sick man of Europe after this World War. It lost so many territories. Okay, it very big blow for Turkey. So you can understand why people are calling sick man of Europe at that time. So Turkey lost settlement with Turkey and Bulgaria. Eastern Thrace, Aegean Islands, Smyrna, all were given to Greek. And then Adelia roads to Italy. Italy got lot of territories just because of joining allied powers. So it was very cunning and intelligent decision from Italy. And then the straits were to be permanently open, so channels. Syria became French mandate. Palestine, Iraq, Transjordan became British mandates. You see how Britain is very clever here. Why? Wherever you find oil, America and Great Britain go there. Okay, they want those nations. For example, America went to Iraq and they killed Baghdad. Saddam Hussein. The reason is there is a lot of oil there. So America wanted to use that oil. So and then they say Saddam Hussein is not a democratic leader. He is committing lot of human rights crimes. So they go there in the name of democracy or against terrorism or human rights problem. They occupy that country. They killed him. Then they used all that oil. So Great Britain also same thing. Treaty of Lausanne, 1923. Then Turkey regained eastern Thrace including Constantinople. What remained for Turkey is Constantinople. What is the actual name of Constantinople? What is Turkey's capital now? Constantinople was very famous city in those days. Famous city, very important city for a business. Okay. Istanbul. Istanbul is the new name. Okay, that is the capital. So from historic point of view, it was a big center for business, and luckily they did not lose that territory. Okay. So they regained Thrace and Constantinople and Smyrna. Turkey was therefore first state to challenge Paris settlement. So the point is, all these settlements are treaties were not successful. First they started, but how many people, how many countries are following, whether it is successful or not, time will tell. We have to discuss that later. They are not successful. Then Treaty of Neuilly. See, LLY is silent. LLY is silent. Treaty of Neuilly, dealing with Bulgaria. So Bulgaria lost territory to Greek, depriving of her Aegean coastline and Yugoslavia and Romania. So this is what happened. Treaty of Neuilly, Treaty of Sèvres, Treaty of Trianon, Treaty of Neuilly. They are important exam point of view. Okay. You may not remember all the territories, but remember 2 to 3 territories, important territories, because UPSC don't encourage you to remember all the nook and corner of the details, but it is important. How far the peace settlements succeed? Yeah, Mahak Sharma, good. That is the correct answer, Istanbul. Mahak Sharma, is my pronunciation correct? What about other teachers? Are they pronouncing correctly? Okay. Then the peace settlements were not noticeable success. It is not a very grand success. Peace settlements were sabotaged from the beginning. Sabotaged means, okay, normally a sabotage is attack, but here the trouble, okay, they were not successful. Europe got divided into 2 factions. In Europe, some countries wanted to follow the treaties. Some countries, oh, what are the treaties? At that time we accepted. Now there is no rule to, no need to accept. Like one faction wanted to support these treaties, other faction was not interested. So then that will escalate into wars. After war, some territorial distribution happened, but when you don't listen, what happens? When you don't follow, again it will lead to wars. Then USA did not ratify. So you call it is a USA is like big boss. Whatever the, whether they are United Nations or League of Nations, if it comes, that becomes stronger. Otherwise, it is not strong. So here after League of Nations, he did not ratify, okay, the treaty. Never joined League of Nations. That is one of the important reasons why League of Nations failed. USA did not join. USA is very cunning at that time. Even now, the point is, if you join League of Nations, that means, of course, now it is there in NATO. So if any country attacks League of Nations countries, it has to go and support them. Why should I support? Because USA was doing a brisk business in times of Second World War. That sort of a country, why would it agree to help other countries? So why should I join? Why should I help them? When somebody bombs me in Pearl Harbor, somebody, then I will join. Otherwise, I will not respond. So they thought it is waste of time. The powers did not want to negotiate with the Bolshevik government. This another thing is, Russia is like untouchable country because of communalism. Most of the countries, Russia, Lenin, Stalin, please don't talk to them. They are not like human beings. This is the kind of mindset. The reason people hated communalism like that, communist countries. So they were not interested to negotiate with them. Then Germany was only temporarily weakened. Germany, God only knows. Hitler came 1933, Okay, 39, 6 years he started Second World War. Nobody knows. Okay, you can understand at least Japan restoration, Meiji restoration, it developed took 44 years, okay. But how that war torn country, Germany, because of First World War, within 6 years, on one side, all the world is facing depression, and Japan was defaulting on the loans and reparations. It took loans from USA. It had to pay reparations to lot of countries. These two horrible things are going on. Hitler had his other plans, that is waging, maybe not waging, he did not have that thing in mind, but certainly he wanted to occupy a lot of territories. So, that is a kind of a conundrum. That means what is a conundrum? It is a kind of a puzzle. Okay. Then League of Nations came into being after the end of World War I. Then it provided a forum for resolving international disputes. What was League of Nations? I mean, security, peace, international cooperation. These are all the aims of League of Nations. The same for United Nations also. Main aims of the League: maintain peace through collective security, encourage international cooperation. Another interesting thing you have to understand is League of Nations did not have any military. Now, you take United Nations, wherever there is a war or after war or something, they call it peacekeeping forces. Peacekeeping forces. United Nations sends, it's there. All the countries support some military, some soldiers. They are known as United Nations peacekeeping forces. But League of Nations did not have any military. How can you resolve the disputes without a military? Who will care? Who will fear of you? That is the problem. First of all, if you do not have military, all the countries have to send the soldiers and you have to use it. That is not going to be possible. For United Nations, they have their own military, of course, contributed by the member countries. Main aims of League: to encourage international cooperation. Then, organization structure of the League. It is more or less similar to United Nations. What are the organization structure branches? You see, assembly. Okay, this is like it uses it meets annually once in a year, consists of delegation. This is one of the biggest reasons for failure. When you are meeting once in a year, what are you going to achieve? That is one of the reasons for the failure of League of Nations. Then, consisted of delegation from each nation. Each nation has a delegation. Each member had one vote. It functions to decide general policy. So, what General Assembly is? They have designed general policies. Council means it is like a Security Council of United Nations, like councils. Okay. Composed of 4 permanent members. Now, in United Nations we have 5 permanent members. There 4 permanent, 4 non-permanent. It served as sort of cabinet with executive powers. Council was responsible for prevention of war. Okay. As name says, you can understand it is like Security Council, although it is council. So, it is important to prevent the wars, and through disarmament it has to encourage nations not to go for arms race, disarm like that. Resolving disputes, supervising mandates of the League. Secretariat, this is like a front desk office. That means they do lot of documentation, okay, clerical job. It is like office of a League of Nations, that is Secretariat. Name itself know what happens in Secretariat, the same thing. It served as League's civil service, prepared agenda for Assembly and Council, served as a clerical purpose. Then the Permanent Court of International Justice. So you know where is that International Court? Hague in Holland. Hague in Holland. What is other name for Holland? Online students, what is another name for Holland? It consisted of 15 judges, 15 judges of different nations, and it deals with legal disputes between states and political ones. What are the achievements of nations? League of Nations. Achievements of League of Nations. See, it also achieved something, but when people think about League of Nations, we think it's like a big failure. So its achievements were actually overtaking the failures are overtaking the achievements. That's why people don't remember achievements. So Åland Islands. So these are islands, where Finland and Sweden had territorial disputes. So it has resolved that dispute. Upper Silesia, it is about between Germany and Lithuania. Germany and Poland. Minimal, it is Germany and Lithuania. And Turkey, this is a loosen, we can say Turkey boundaries. What are the boundaries of Turkey after World War? That disputes were there, and then they were resolved by United Nations. Then Greek and Bulgaria. Actually, Bulgaria has killed captain of Greek and some security people. Then Greece has to attack Bulgaria for this issue. So there was a war kind of a situation, just because Bulgaria killed a captain of a navy captain of a Greek and some security people. So it was about to escalate into war, and United Nations successfully resolved that dispute. So these are the achievements. And then the formation of International Labour Organization, labor organization to improve the conditions of labor. It was also achievement. Kritika Sanyam Sakret, Mahak Sharma, Netherlands, that's correct. They are also known as Dutch also. Dutch. So humanitarian, they use it to help. So these are also achievements. 4 lakh prisoners were repatriated, given to those countries. Then Turkey's refugee camps helped in 1922. Work against leprosy, that is also some achievement. Drug companies were blacklisted. Attacks on slave owners in Sierra Leone, Burma. Economic advice to Austria and Hungary. Why did League fail to preserve peace? We will discuss that in the next class. That is, why did League fail to preserve peace? It's a little big chapter, so we have to take more time. I thought only 50% is completed now. We have a lot of slides. So 25 slides. We will discuss them in the next class. Thank you all online students. for your late night time. Thank you. Thank you and good night. See you in the next class.